Kakadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing with the halachot of berachot. We wanted to speak about a very important beracha, which is going to be a beracha on whether it's going to be ice cream in an ice cream cone, whether it's going to be the ice cream sandwich, or a Krembo. Last night we were speaking about these halachot. Why? Because we know that whenever you have a mezonot, and the mezonot is there to give taste, so therefore you have to make a beracha of mezonot, even though the rest of it is going to be, for example, the ikar. So, for example, ice cream. Obviously, you're only eating ice cream cone because you have the ice cream, but you have the mezonot there. So therefore, it's actually brought down in the halacha as follows. If you have an ice cream cone which does not have a taste, right? In olden days, many times, or even you probably could still find today, where you go and you buy certain type of, they're called Geffen ice cream cones, which they're not the regular round, sphere ice cream cones. They look like a box, right? It's like cardboard. You come, you put the ice cream ball on top of it, and then you come and you eat it. So in such a case where the ice cream cone in itself does not have a taste, so you only make a shakol on the ice cream, and then that's it. The majority of the people won't even eat the cone. That's what usually happens. Usually the cone is usually thrown away. Some people will eat it if it's still got the ice cream inside of that cone, but the main part is going to be, in essence, the actual ice cream. However, though, if the cone in itself has a good taste, which means that they'll come and many people will come and they'll eat the cone even by itself. Why? Because it's got a very good taste. So therefore, what you have to do is you have to make a mezonot on the cone, and then, right, you're going to be poter the ice cream, even though he says it's still better to come and to make two different berachot, which means you'll make a beracha on the ice cream shakol, and you'll make a mezonot on the ice cream cone. The exact same halacha would apply to Krembo. For those that don't know what Krembo is that if you go to the stores, it's an Israeli version that basically on the bottom you have a flat piece of a mezonot, right? And then on top of that you have a cream. And over the entire thing is chocolate. So and then there's different flavors, different things like that. Now, the mezonot in itself has an importance of taste, which means people like it. So therefore, if you're going to make a shakol on the chocolate and the cream, chazak u'baruch, but it still has mezonot, if it was only just to stand it up, right, which means that you're only holding it into place, so then you don't even make a beracha on the mezonot. However, though, here, since the mezonot is there to give taste, what you would have to do is you would have to make a shakol on the Krembo, which means on the chocolate and on the cream, and you would make a mezonot on the actual part of the mezonot part. And the last one is going to be, which is called in Hebrew the kasata, which is basically the ice cream sandwich. There was a very famous machloket, right, in Lakewood between the British and the Americans. The British always used to say that when you make a beracha on the ice cream sandwich was shakol. And the Americans used to say, what are you talking about? If anything, for sure you would have to make a mezonot as well. And they kept on going back and forth there in Lakewood, until finally they understood what happened. What happened is that in England, right, the ice cream sandwich, the mezonot part, which is on the outside of the sandwich, didn't have a good taste. It was there basically to hold the ice cream. You don't want to get your hands dirty, but you want to have an ice cream. So therefore, you have it holding into its place, so you would come and have it. So for them, the ikar was the shakol, the ikar was the ice cream, and the mezonot in itself, it wasn't really there for any true reason. It was just to hold it in its place. So for they held it, you should say shakol, and that's it. However, though, here in America, the actual outside part of the ice cream has a very good taste as well. So since it has a good taste as well, for sure you would have to make a mezonot also on the mezonot part, and then you would make a shakol on the inside part. The only reason why you're doing two berachot is because since the shakol, the ice cream for sure is also the ikar, right? You're not having just a mezonot on itself. You're having it in itself. So therefore what you have to do is have in mind on each beracha that I'm not being yotzei chova the other one. Which means I'm going to eat the mezonot, I'm going to make a beracha mezonot, and have in mind I don't want to be poter the shakol. And vice versa, when I'm going to make a shakol first, I have in mind I'm not going to be poter the mezonot. By doing so, since you have two ikars, two main principles, two main concepts in the food, so therefore you're going to be making over here two different berachot, a beracha whether it's going to be on the sandwich part and then another beracha on the ice cream, the same thing a beracha on the cone and then a beracha on the ice cream, or the same thing to do with what we mentioned before also, on the Krembo, a beracha on the mezonot part, and then also on the ice cream.